All right, special guest right here. The one, the only. You already see the villains in the chat. So this is for all you guys right here. The original villain, the king villain himself, Darrell Streeter. How we doing?
What's going on, bro?
I'm doing great, man. It's Friday. It's happy hour. This, I don't drink, so this is my happy hour right here.
You don't drink?
I used to. I had to hang it on. My jersey's in the rafters, man. But yeah, it was time to put that one aside.
What? Well, you had to stop, dog. Hold up, man. Got to be a story that goes along with this, man. Like, it has to be a story. It has to be a story that goes along with it.
I had kids. I was acting a fool. My wife looked at me and kind of gave me the come to Jesus moment. I couldn't argue with her, and that was all she wrote. So that's kind of it. Luckily, everything went well. I'm still here. Everybody's still here, so it was one of those things, man. Part of the process. But I feel good, man. I mean, I don't miss it really. The hard thing was the season I quit was 2022. So I'm out here watching Middle Tennessee State bombing on us, and I'm like, man, they're testing me right now. I got to take this one.
So you were sober watching that? You were sober watching that?
That's like in the Civil War. You know how they used to they didn't have the anesthesia, so they're just like cutting dudes' legs off on the battlefield. That's how I was feeling watching that Middle Tennessee State game. No Novocaine.
Yeah. But, how do I sound? Give me a thumbs up, man. I sound fine.
You sound great, man. A total pro. I like the hat.
Hey, I've been having. Yeah, man. I'm trying to do a little different, man. Look. So they go by your stream, man. They're gonna see an old 40-year-old dude with a crazy hat on. They might stop, man. I'm trying to help the cause. What's
going on, man?
I got a story about the Middle Tennessee State game, right? So check this out. I go to Texas A&M. My first time ever been at Texas A&M. I go see the 120,000 people worshiping football gods. We lose the game. We come back home. Middle Tennessee State, you go from 100,000 to 100 people, maybe. The players get off the bus, and I'm live talking to the villains, right? They get off the bus, and I look at them, and I tell the villains instantly, D-Money, they don't look right. And if any villains in here, you know what I'm saying, they can confirm. I was like, boy, they don't look like they're ready to play a football game today. And they looked lethargic, and they looked, I think you go from watching 100,000 people playing in front of 100,000, you lose it early, and then you have to come. Your bounce back game is Middle Tennessee State, where you can't earn anything back, right? And they didn't look like they was up to play a football game. And if the villains, I'm gonna pull a bit, and the villains get in here. Listen, I said it live. I said it before the game. I was just like, they don't look right. So I actually talked to like Warren Sapp, you know what I'm saying? After it, and he was just like, bro, listen, when stuff like that usually happens, whatever Mario did to them in practice that week, they didn't like it. And he said that's kind of how that usually where that comes from. But it was obvious. It was obvious that they wasn't up for that game. But I would have never guessed that we get out behind whoop like that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy when you look back at that team and how bad our pass defense was, because they were bombing it on us. You know what I mean? It was like they were just going over the top. And if you go back and look, you have Tyree Stevenson, who plays a lot for the Bears. I mean, he's one of the best young corners in the country for the NFL.
Yeah.
DJ Ivey playing real snaps last year for the Bengals. Then you got James Williams, linebacker now, but he's probably going to start for Tennessee. And then Cam Kitchens was one of the best rookies last year. That's your defensive backs. Plus, you got the Corey Couch, who's a decent nickel. I mean, how are we so bad on pass defense that year? It's crazy in retrospect.
At the time, Tyreek Stevenson was, I think, taking a lot of heat for some things Cam Kitchens would do. And the last person you would see was in the screen would be Tyreek Stevenson on TV. You know what I'm saying? He's a safety, and we would always blame him. But some of those gambles that Cam Kitchens took is also what has him in the NFL and the Pro Bowl. But I mean, that's just how he plays the game. But I didn't think I should have some villains in here. I didn't think they were going to lose, but they didn't look right. Who was the starting quarterback that game?
I remember Jake Garcia playing in that game. I don't know if he started or if he came in the middle, but I remember Jake Garcia in there not doing too hot. Michigan's third string quarterback,
You know
Jake
what? I
Garcia.
think Tyler Van Dyke started that game and threw 3 interceptions.
That's right.
Didn't
Yeah. Yeah. That was a game where they were throwing let me pull that up right here. That box score, man. That was for Middle Tennessee. I mean, I said this on one of my podcasts, but it's like it wasn't even north, south, east, or west. It was the middle. The only team where the middles got the college, and they still beat us. But yeah, man. Let me see. So Van Dyke, right there. So Van Dyke came in through 2 picks, quarterback rating of 20, and then Garcia came in and he didn't do anything. But
quarterback rating of 20.
Yeah, 16 to 32. He threw 32 passes and got 138 yards against Middle Tennessee State. I mean,
I think he started it. I think he was the one that gave them the confidence.
That's what they're saying. He got knocked out. He threw all his picks, and then he also physically got knocked out. So, injury, insult, the whole thing. One thing I'll say is that even if we play our F game now, our roster is so much better than back then that our F game still beats, Middle Tennessee State pretty easy. That's one thing that we've improved on is that margin for error where, hopefully don't play our F game, right? But like if it's one of those games where everything's going wrong, the ball's getting tipped, intercepted, whatever, the floor is so much higher that you're not losing these FIUs and Middle Tennessees. And that's not even in the consideration. Obviously, we had a lot of close games last year, but it feels like a long time ago where you're talking about teams like Middle Tennessee State. I mean, I think right now we could put me at quarterback and I could just hand it off to Fletcher and Lyle, and the offensive line will just take care of business. So,
right. They've improved a lot. I got a couple of villains in here now, man. I was just telling him about before Middle Tennessee State game when I was telling y'all that the team didn't look right. You know what I'm saying? Like if y'all was a villain, you know what I'm saying, then just give me a thumbs up if y'all remember that. But what? Okay, so I'm glad you went into talking about our F game now and our F game then. I got a question for you.
Let's
Clemson. Go. When did Clemson go from that one Clemson's getting better? When did they convert into a team that they dominated the ACC? Like we had, like when we walked in there to play them, we had no chance. What can you remember in the chat? Can y'all remember when Clemson went from Clemson is getting better to they're at a level now where it's like we walk in there, man, and we're down 21 points. Like at their field, I feel. Do you remember like that? Like when they went from that to that?
Deshaun Watson obviously had a lot to do with that one. Getting Deshaun Watson and what he did at quarterback because they had Taj Boyd before. Remember Taj Boyd? He was a good player, but then you go to like a Deshaun Watson, and it's like a whole different kind of conversation. Their D-line recruiting. I would say this is from my recollection of it. Their D-line recruiting. Like they were defense was okay. They had CJ Spiller. They made a lot of plays on offense. But once their D linemen started being those NFL guys, you know what I mean? The Shaq Lawsons, eventually Christian Wilkins, guys like that. Yeah. That to me was when they really elevated to a team that can go toe-to-toe with Bama. Obviously, we're not even in that picture. But like the D line, that's the position that gets the most money. That's the position that SEC usually kind of puts a monopoly on. So when Clemson's getting those guys, I think that's when they got a little bit of a shift.
So you think it happened in the trenches, like kind of like with Mario's, like what we're doing with Mario's. So
on the D-line, yeah.
And they went from because I get so sick of my villains. I get so sick of my villains and fans saying, "Oh no, man, we got a tough stretch at Miami this year. We got to go to Pitt. We got to go to Louisville." And I'm getting tired of that. I can't wait till we till we elevate to that team where it's like Clemson didn't care about us. They didn't care about us. They would, you know what I'm saying? I can't wait till we get out of this place where it's like at Louisville is a tough game or at Pitt's, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, that NC State may be a tough game. No, bro. I want to get to that point where we felt like the JV to Clemson for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah, they would smother us. De'Aaron King, I'm not sure if he saw over the offensive line yet in that game. Like so I don't want to just be all right. Like I just want to get to that point where we're not thinking about Pitt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about.
You remember that game where we were playing? It might have been King. Actually, it was Malik Rozier, And I don't know, it was Christian Wilkins or one of those guys was knocking our guy back. It was Hayden Mahoney, number 62, and he did like a split. Like it was so bad up front. But then look, fast forward to 2023 when we had Emory, Ruben Bain and Mawanoa, they made their highlight reel against Clemson. So I mean, that's recruiting, right? When you get guys like Mawanoa and Bain, now they're making their highlight reel against Clemson, tossing them around. So that's a little bit of a shift. I'm pulling up, by the way, just to answer, because there's a great question. Got the wheel spinning. I pulled up their draft history. So around 2013, I'm just looking at their guys they're getting picked. Now you're talking about like DeAndre Hopkins. Then you go to the next year, Sammy Watkins, right? So you're starting to kind of see it develop.
Right,
then you go to the next year, Vic Beasley, Anthony, Grady Jarrett, right? These guys all got drafted and were good players. Then you keep going and you're talking about Shaq Lawson, Kevin Dodd, Mackenzie Alexander from Immokalee. Again, just kind of go down the line. Then Mike Williams, Deshaun Watson. So as you go down, it's like every year you kind of get more names. And then 2019, you had 3 defensive linemen going first round. Dexter Lawrence, who's the best in the business right now. Christian Wilkins, who's another Pro Bowler. Cleveland Farrell, who didn't pan out, but he was top 5 pick, killed us. Trayvon Mullen from Coconut Creek around the way, 2nd round pick. So Hunter Renfro is in that class. So yeah, you see like, it's just like a few, then more. It just kind of keeps stacking up.
They had 3 defensive linemen went first round.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir. And then they had that team had T. Higgins too, AJ Terrell, Isaiah Simmons. I mean, they had dudes, man. It was no secret sauce. They just had elite players at the positions that you pay money to, right? Because D-line, quarterback, wide receiver. I mean, NFL, look at Justin Jefferson, what he's making. Look at what these defensive tackles are making. Look at what the quarterbacks are making. Those are the guys that, like, they didn't have all the all-stars. Alabama had a whole squad. These guys kind of had good players, and then they had those elite guys kind of where they needed them.
Yeah. Man, that's we got to get there on the defense. Our defensive line looks good this year, bro.
Yeah, talk to me. We had a lot of comments in the chat. People want to know, what do you think about this year's team? So we got a few weeks of camp in, just in terms of this squad, right? So 2025 Miami Hurricanes. What do you kind of things you're seeing or your things you're picking up?
I just sent you a picture. Check that when you get a chance. I think you just said his name, and if that's the same kid, that's funny because that's my stepdaughter and him. So
is that Mullen?
Trayvon Mullen. It's Trayvon. Who did he play for? Trayvon Mullen.
He played Coconut Creek, and then he played for Clemson.
That's him.
Yeah,
that's
then he played.
That's when my stepdaughter was like the first lady of Footballville. Like, she was so talented as a kid. I could put the mic in her face and she would just go off. But that's her and him in high school. He looked like he's in college standing next to them. They all in high school.
I pull up the picture, but I'm not computer savvy, and it's in my text. So I might pull out my whole text history.
Yeah, good. Well,
I might get fired for life.
I'll put it on the Footballville Twitter.
That's what I'm worried about. Every time I'm pulling up my text on one of these streams, you know what I mean? Get like a high school group chat, get the Canes group chat on there, blowing people up. We can't have that. So it's a beautiful picture, by the way. But yeah, okay, that's why I couldn't pull that one up. Canes cat saying he saw you out there at the practice yesterday.
Yeah. Bro, listen, I think highly of this team. I think it's Mario. I think it's his best chance to win it. I think I was talking to Rod Mack one day and the size. He was speaking on the size, like how big we were. You look at Brown at cornerback and Xavier Lucas at cornerback, like these are big corners. Then you look at Blunt and Justin Scott, like we were starting to look like a bigger team. But I believe, I really believe, and not because I actually know the guy and been around him, that adding a Carson Beck to a team that wins 10 games the year before, you go to Cal, you're down 28 points, you it's that out, you go to Florida and smack them in the mouth, you didn't know you had it in you. You go to Louisville, all the coaching staff shaking in their boots. Ooh, they're scared to coach against Louisville's coach, and we actually get out of there alive. And you add Carson Beck to that team, and it's like 8 years ago, you could not do that. That was a luxury you couldn't have. I was about to ask Mario in the press conference yesterday, like how does it feel to have a luxury like that where you can go from Cam Ward to Carson Beck? Usually when you go from Cam Ward, there's a guy behind him that hadn't played and he's been sitting on the bench for 2 or 3 years.
No growing pains,
and
right?
I was going to ask him that, like that luxury of being able to do that. Huh?
No, I'm saying we're a little delayed. I'm saying that, yeah, there's no growing pains is what I'm saying. That they get their growing pains elsewhere, right, and then you get them full grown.
Yeah, that luxury. So you add him to this team with his experience, and how could you not feel good about it? Then the ACC puts out the damn preseason All-American team or whatever you want to call it, and half the team is Clemson players, and I'm like, come on, man, they can't be that good. Like, it can't be that again. Right. So we're going to have to walk through Clemson and SMU, right? Florida State is a rivalry game. We're going to have to walk through those guys. But, bro, if we get in the playoffs and postseason, we have the most experienced quarterback. Period.
Listen, you mentioned the ACC. I want to get into that because this will bother me. So Clemson was 90th against the run last year, 9-0. And we saw it in the playoffs. We saw everybody running on them. Then I look at the first team all defense and I see Peter Woods at defensive tackle. Who, yeah, he's an NFL prospect. And then Wade Woodaz, Sammy Brown, 2 linebackers. And it's like you guys had all these guys that are elite, all ACC guys, front 7, and you were 90th against the run. Like, how much of that is the helmet versus what they actually did on the field last year defensively? I know they got talent, but like stopping the run, that's man on man. That's having dudes. And if you can't stop the run,
right,
the ACC, I'm not sure why you automatically are assumed to have some kind of dominant defense.
I think it's the benefit of doubt. I think Miami got the benefit of doubt for a long time, from 2001 into 2010 and 12, and I think they gave us the benefit of doubt from what they had seen. I think it's the benefit of doubt, and it's up to Miami. It's up to Miami to slap them in the mouth. It was up to them to come down here and put 70 on us or whatever the hell they did to us, and and with the halftime on our field. It's up to Miami to slap them in the mouth and put them in their place twice. Nobody's gonna do it for us. Florida State's not gonna do it for us. Like we have to do it, because the media or everybody believes that it's Dabo. They'll eventually get back to being Clemson, and sometimes you don't. You talking to Cane fans. Sometimes you don't get back to being what you were.
Especially when he doesn't. We have the best recruiting class in the ACC every year. So the recruiting, he gets good players, but it's not like he's stacking classes. He doesn't use the portal. So like you said, if you can knock them off the pedestal, look, they won the ACC last year with a team that wasn't perfect. So you respect the culture they built. And it's like you said, it's that aura. Like they expect to win. And then last year when they really had no business winning the ACC, they still win it. So it's a great point that they're just kind of like, you got to knock them off, because they'll win it by default, even when they're not that good. But when you don't recruit the best ACC players, like they haven't had the best class of the last 5 years, and then you don't go in the portal, you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
So people are asking, they say,
I think they have a veteran quarterback. Go ahead. No, I just think they have a veteran quarterback, and that's good for them. But no, they are vulnerable, and we have to do it to them. Go ahead.
So the people in the chat are asking, like I said, because they know you're around the team. So you mentioned the size, right? Which I agree. To me, that's my big takeaway. Is like, look, man, I'm not out there watching the XO, the huddle. You know what I mean? There's only so much you can get on the sideline. I mean, you can see things, but you're not like really breaking down film means you're looking at the coach's film and all that, which I can tell you I'm not doing. But looking at the size, you mentioned Lucas, Damari Brown walking around, Blunt, all those guys, Hayden Lowe, you mentioned. But beyond that, which I agree with totally, how do you feel about this team compared to, let's say, last year's team, the more you're around them, and where you see the big advantage for this year's team, if there is one?
How do I feel about this team compared to last year's team? I think last year's team, something happened to us in practice and we ignored it, right? We watched Restrepo literally obliterate Michelle Powell in practice, right? But it was good competition. But Powell would never win. And we watched our wide receivers do something to our defensive backs in practice that it kind of reared its ugly head during the season. Now, Guidry should have adjusted, or you know what I'm saying, but and he didn't. But what I see in this team is what you're going to get is competition. You're going to get different sides of the ball, right? So you go back to your guys and you be like, oh man, the offense got off the day. Jordan Lau was running crazy, and then the first guy gonna put in the chat, I knew our defensive tackle sucked, right? And then the next week you come back and defensive tackle, the offensive line can't block defense sacking all on Carson back, and then they're gonna come back and be like, Markel Bell ain't ready. But that's what you need, right? That's what you need in order to get better. When Miami was great, like the battles at Green Tree, I hear these guys tell me. I talked to Philip Buchanan and Rod Mack and Najee Davenport. Like the battles happened at Green Tree, and then the game. Those guys, you know what I'm saying? Those guys could not match the intensity that was happening at Green Tree. So with this year's team, that's what I see. I see they've put a lot of different guys in the defensive back room, and now they challenge the wide receivers in competition. Guys actually going at it. I actually see Scargins put his hands in Bell's chest and push him back sometimes, or Bain get by Bell, or sometimes Bell looks like a wall to Bain, and you get this competition which develops players to me, and which makes them better. I love Guidry. Guidry was the coolest guy in the world. Cam Kitchens told me Guidry used to have them prepared. He said I had never been around a coach that had me more prepared when he was here. And so I love Guidry as a person off the field, man. He was a cool guy. I'm not sure what limitations, like what happened last year, and like why we couldn't see certain guys shouldn't be on the field, and we waited so long to play Marquise and all that stuff. So we couldn't foresee that. We couldn't foresee that part. But with this team, I think you got a new defensive coordinator, right? Nobody knows what he's going to do. You got a guy in Dawson who's coming off the number one offense in the nation, and he's just going to pass the keys to Carson Beck. You already said it. And so I believe that this team is ready to take the next step. 11 wins, 10 wins, ACC championship. That's what I believe.
We've been waiting for it, man. So listen, we got almost 1,200, more than almost 1,200. We got almost 1,300. We got 1,260 plus. It's 4:59 on a Friday. We're not even supposed to be scheduled at this time, but when Streeter comes on, that's what happens to the numbers. Footballville, for those who don't know, I got to do the plugs. Footballville, Caneville, all there you see it right there. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, multimedia empire right there that you got running. So if you like what you're hearing now, and I always get texts about it, so I know people are liking it because they're always saying, "Man, who's that dude? I love that shit. I love when he comes on." And I said in the link. So if you are liking what you're seeing, Footballville, Caneville, all of that. The villains are in the building all over the chat. But real quick,
what up?
Oh yeah. Shout out to Josh Still. We got more of those, man. I missed you on the villains. I appreciate you. The Juice, ACC Championship, no excuses. Appreciate your support. Yeah, we need it, man. Real quick, I want to ask you this, Darrell, which is a position that caught my eye in particular yesterday and just in general. Talk about the size. A guy like Mo Torre at linebacker, grown man, 2019 class. And then Wesley Bissainthe gaining weight, right? Kind of feeling that, hey, this is supposed to be my year that I'm the man. You're bringing someone else in. Now, you didn't say that, but you know how it is. It's that there's a competition level there. That position to me looks better, just eye test wise, the guys that are in the room. What do you think about linebacker, which is a signature position at the University of Miami historically?
So you think both of those guys, they would be on the field at the same time, right? You think they'll play both of them?
But I'm just saying, like, yes, they would. But if they beat out the guys behind them, yes, I would project those as the two starters. But I'm saying, like, if you're Wesley Bissainthe and you're trying to be the man, and then someone else comes in that's doing great, It's that healthy competition, not negative, but just like, hey, this is not just my show and no one else is even pushing me. I'm getting pushed by peers, guys that are older than me, and I'm a senior.
For the people who don't understand, these kids are getting paid. First of all, they're 19-year-old, they're full of testosterone. Now you put $20,000 in their bank account a month. You put $40,000 in their bank account a month, and could you imagine the monster that's being created? So guess what keeps these guys in line sometimes? Getting a Tony Jones out the transfer portal. Getting a Marion out the transfer portal, right? You put guys in the room, Tony Jones, walk on that FAU, work this hard, start going off at FAU, got picked up at Cincinnati, caught some balls at Cincinnati. This guy's going to walk in the room and he know how to do one thing, D-Money, outwork your ass. So if you want to be at Cub Live or getting all your ice in your grills and done and you don't want to work, guess who is going to be working? Tony Jones, because nobody gave him anything. So the transfer portal is actually used, right, to do exactly that. Make you uncomfortable. Put guys in the room that's going to push you. And that's how you keep them in line. So, hey, listen, if you want to be out late Friday night, whatever, Muhammad Torre going to take your goddamn job. He got one more year left. He's looking at the NFL. He has no time to be playing with you. And that's what keep guys in line. I spoke to Muhammad Torre on Media Day, bro. It sounded like him and Heatherman are like homeboys, like they play PlayStation together. And bro, it sounded like it was more than just, hey, Heatherman was my position coach at Rutgers. No. It sounded like Heatherman really knows this guy. This guy trusts Heatherman. And the fact of the matter is, this is what college football is. You plug him right in. He had 90 tackles at Rutgers. And you plug them in, and even though our room was stacked of guys waiting, right? This is the bad part of the portal, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Because now it becomes kind of like professional ball, but it's not. There's no contract. You can't lock 22 in. What's 22 name? Like you can't make him stay here.
Bobby Pruitt.
You can't make Pruitt stay here, right? So it's not. When people say it's just like the pros, no, it's not. So you put Torre in. Pruitt, I feel, is talented as all outdoors. Wesley Bissainthe, I believe this is his year. I mean, what you have to understand about Wesley Bissainthe, when he went to Miami Central, they had to put him down to JV. He was kind of a slow bloomer. Now we're talking about a 4-star kid starting on. They're like, no, man, he ain't ready yet. Like he was like a freshman. Ended up a 4-star kid. He was like a slow bloomer. And I talked to the Villains about this for the last 3 years, that I think he was going to I believe he will come on late. Like he was going to be late in his junior year. Senior year is when you would see the best Wesley, because Wesley is not flag. Let's just say that. He's not out there thinking, diagnosing things. You know, that's not what he does. He's flash of linebackers. He's going to see something and he will get there faster than you. That's how he makes the play at Cal. That's how he made the. I got videos of him in middle school making the same play. When he sees something and he gets there faster than you, so he'll make these flash plays throughout games that other guys can't make. So now I believe he's ready to be the best version of Wesley. And then you put that with a Muhammad Torre, a veteran guy, and I think that you got two guys. Now 22, Cam Pruitt. This kid is just talented, bro.
Yeah, he can do a lot. It's not just running and hit. I mean, he can do a lot of things.
His dad played in the NFL. He was a safety in high school. They converted him because he kept hitting people to linebacker. And he just gets in the game and he understands football. He's going to be around the ball. He's a playmaker, and I'm not sure how they're keeping him on the bench.
I don't know if they are. By the way, shout out to DC. Remember, like and subscribe to the video. I think he's going to play. He's going to have his own kind of role, right? He's not going to be Wesley's backup or Torre's backup. I think he's going to have his own role because he's got the unique skill set to do different things that those guys do. So I think that's he's going to get on the field in his own kind of way, whether it's, obviously he's a cover guy at that linebacker position, but he's still a linebacker. He has that skill set too. So I think he'll be hell of a unique kind of role, but they got to find a way on the field. With Wesley, when I talk about Torrey, I'm not saying that to put down Wesley. I think Wesley's going to have an awesome year. I want them together. It's like, I think back different types of players, but you think of Dan Morgan and Nate Webster. You had two of those dudes right there pushing each other. And that's what gets me excited about this, is that you have that level of, hey, not just one veteran and everybody else young. You got two veterans right now who've seen a lot and been in different systems. Wesley's 230. He was 190, I think, when he came in, he told me. So he's gained some weight, a lot of weight. And
he's pretty stout right now. That's a good comparison, dog. Dan Morgan and
different body types, different players, but we had two of them. You know what I mean? And they were boys, but they were trying to compete to see who could knock the other guy's head off first. They had that competition going.
Yeah, no, that's a great comparison.
But so here, Roy Dripper saying that's exactly how I see him too. Talking about how you described him as that flash playmaker. He's going to get his name etched. The dressing, he's definitely flashy, man. I saw him at the ACC Media Day. I was talking to his mom. The guy was looking like a movie star, man. He had the expensive suit on. He's using the NIL money wisely. He had the tailor. Yeah. So, but obviously on the field, he's gritty, man. So, it's interesting, man. I want to ask, we got to go soon. I want to get your thoughts on this, because you're Mr. South Florida. You're Footballville, which is the whole country, but you're also Caneville, and you're also South Florida. That's your bread and butter. I look at this team. We got a ton of great national talent. I mean, Mao and Noah, all these other dudes. But you say, all right, Jordan Lyle, Mark Fletcher, JoJo Schrader, Malachi Tony, Josh Moore, the Moten, Armando Blunt, Wesley, Damari Brown, Xavier Lucas, Frederic, all these guys. So the South Florida kids on this team, do you think this could be a team that kind of puts Miami even more on the map with South Florida guys and says, hey, listen, these guys are balling at this level, getting paid at this level, going pro at this level? All the Jeremiah Smith and all the history where you had to leave to kind of follow your dreams, you could do what these guys are doing and make it happen. You think this is a group that can kind of help let that happen?
Yeah, I do. Led by Malachi Tony. We saw live at Liberty City Park the other day that the kids thought Malachi Tony was a rock star. And it was weird because I asked Malachi, like, when did this happen? And he was like, I don't know. Like, they didn't know what he looked like. But when they heard his name, they had the video of the kids saying, he touched my hand. He touched my hand.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
good. Right. So when the Cane players have that impact on the kids that's coming behind them, right, they're watching. And I do believe a JoJo who's going to be very entertaining when he gets on the field. Very entertaining to watch. Mario's going to cuss him out. He's going to do the Michael Jackson in the end zone. It's going to be very entertaining to watch play. Yeah, I do. I think these guys, if Bain finish strong, these guys can be a good example for the guys that's coming behind them. Because there's some guys in youth football, bro, like that are some of the best, the top kids in the nation. In Miami right now, some 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds. And I've seen it. Those 12-year-olds turn into 16-year-olds like that. And the next thing you know, they're being recruited. I got videos of Nick when he was 10, right? Walking down the sideline, putting on in front of 8,000 people. Now he's 6'2", thinking about reclassing.
Praying. As long as it's here.
It happens fast. So no, I do think that can happen with these guys. Before we get out of here, bro, guy, you need to check out Miami Edison, bro. Has a quarterback, Michael Clayton, 4-star kid, right? Committed to Illinois, and he's throwing the ball to 4-star Mari Stevens, which is committed to Miami. And there's another kid over there who was actually in my girlfriend's third grade class, John Jones, who has no stars, right? And he constantly keeps going on. He had 3 touchdowns last time. I think Michael Clayton threw 4 touchdowns. You get a chance, man. You go check out Edison, man. I think Edison, it's possible Edison may have the best quarterback in Florida, bro.
Listen, so we talked about this. We talked about this. I like Clayton. I like his stature. I mean, he's a big dude now. He looks the part. He's pro style. He sits there. He looks right. You just look at him and just looks like a quarterback, the way he operates. Yeah. And Illinois, they're not like Illinois back 10 years ago. I mean, these guys are a real team. They have a good recruiting class. They know what they're doing. Their quarterback right now is good. They got a good offensive coordinator too. So like the fact that they're trying to come down and get this guy from Florida, that says a lot to me. And I'm excited to see him against South Florida competition, because those big South Florida quarterbacks, and I guess we'll claim him now that he moved down. They usually pan out, man. When they're 6'4" and they're productive down here, that's Mendoza, that's CJ Bailey, that's Geno Smith, that's Teddy Bridgewater, that's even like Mike White, guys like that we didn't talk about that go pro, Jacoby Brissett, right? There's not a lot of guys with that height and stature in South Florida that produce, but when they have it, Lamar Jackson, of course, typically those guys, do pretty well. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, get a chance, go check them out, man. I think Illinois is shaking in their boots, man. We don't put them on these big stage here in Miami, and everybody can see them now, man. And I mean, he put on last night, go check him out in the comment section, man. Miami Edison, go check him out. He's something to see, and a lot of people didn't know he was down here, so I figure I'll put that out there. He played in Orlando last year.
So here we go. I'll let you go on this comment from Martin Dubé, our boy from Botswana. It says, Streeter's in his prime like Muhammad Ali at the Houston Astrodome in 1966 versus Cleveland Williams. So, I mean, bro, that's pretty high praise. People are asking for the regular segment. I'm so disorganized with practice and stuff. I told Streeter, I'm like, listen, man, if you see me on, just text me and you're on. It's an open door policy. It's not the I'd love to schedule something, but man, I'm too all over the place. So I totally understand. I leave the door. I leave the key under the mat. And fortunately for us, you were out there today. So man, appreciate you. And we'll be talking plenty soon, man. Make sure you get your plugs in. You do it better than me. Get your plugs in.
Oh, listen. Footballville, Caneville 305. I mean, we created Footballville, almost a million followers, close to a million followers across social media, Facebook, Instagram. Then we created Caneville 305 so we can just talk about the Canes and be Cane fans. And then we created the Villains. Is where we give out inside information. We talk about some of these stories I tell on here about kids and knowing Malachi 20 when he was 9. And so that's what we do on our Discord. So if you want to be a part of the Villain membership, man, the link is in the top of the Twitter, or 786-405-9499. Just send us a text and we'll send you back the link. Say you want to be a Villain. But those are all our properties, man. We're on Twitter, TikTok. If you Google Footballville, everything you see is ours. And I appreciate you, bro. Let me come on here, man, and because I think you have the largest following. Like I think
there's a lot of people out there that never heard the people that like. There's places you go where you say, you watch CanesInSight. They're like, no, man, with Footballville, that's the Canesvilles where we see our Canes. So there's a big world out there. So of a million people that are Canes fans. So my vision of it is, put on everybody, the people that are going to bring the entertainment value and the insight. Let's get them all on, man. And let's let them, continue to see new people see us. Anytime you need me on the show, man, like last time, that's the fun. I love being a guest, man. Like, hosting's hard. Being a guest is fun. So anytime you need me out there again, I'm happy to go on. It's that
awesome, gem you dropped on our show about NCAA lawyers, bro. I had never heard anybody word it like that, like NCAA and who they are.
I saw it firsthand. You know what I mean? You think of these guys are going to be like slick dudes in suits, $1,000. Those guys aren't working for the NCAA in Indiana. They got the Kent State lawyers over there. You know what I mean? They got the MAC lawyers at NC State or at NCAA. So we don't have that here though. I'll tell you, Xavier Lucas, we got the first team for that one. I think we're going to do all right there in that lawsuit.
Yeah. Xavier Lucas got what do y'all call him? He got a giant fighting for him, don't he? That guy is a monster.
yeah, he's all right. And look, honestly, none of that has anything to do with him at the end of the day. It's all about bigger things than this dispute. It's about like trying to get the contract blessed so other teams can use that same contract and not to worry about tampering. That's really what all that's about. Like the Xavier Lucas part, he's going to be wearing number 6 for the Miami Hurricanes, and there's nothing they can really do about that.
Gotcha.
All right, man. Appreciate you. I'll see you, I'm sure, out there at the Hecht, and we'll do it again, man.
All right. Sunday. Gotcha.
See you later.